Welcome, everyone, to another international discussion in which we're going to discuss the progress and what has happened at the conference Global Crisis, Our Survival is in Unity. I'm Jason. Pleasure to be with you all again. Today, my co-host will be Alex, and our guest is Dušan. Gentlemen, please introduce yourselves.
Yes, hello, dear friends. Nice to see you again. And so today we'll go into talk about a very serious topic about climate. And now I pass the word to Dušan to introduce himself.
Здравствуйте, друзья.
Hello, dear friends. The forum that we have seen has highlighted some very unpleasant things that are going to escalate and increase all the time. And now we need not to never forget that although we know the way out, but we need to move in this direction very quickly, because no matter how much we want it, you know by yourself that every day in the world, huge catastrophes are happening in the world, huge disasters that claim human lives, and it's a big tragedy. We should not forget about it. We must consolidate. We should spread this vital information as quickly as possible, because yes, we are talking about the benefits of the creative society, and this is wonderful, but what is at stake is the number one problem, is the climate, and we should not forget about it. Or we can put it in a different way. Igor Mikhailovich has named it Cerber, and we need to, first of all, to catch him up, and what we should start with is to take actions, because as we have seen at the forum, the situation is really a pitiful one. What is going on in the world is really horrible. And as for the catastrophes, for the disasters, well, guys, I would just only advise, watch the news, what is happening in the world. There are catastrophic floods every day, huge cracks appearing everywhere, earthquakes, volcanoes start to erupt that have never erupted before, or it was like a very, very long time that they have erupted, so the problem will not stop. So we need to unite all people. So guys, honestly, if we just wait that someone will do something for us, we cannot allow this to happen. And we have, well, let us say 2 years left in order to inform the whole world. If we will not make it in time, it will just be, it doesn't make sense to do anything else, because in order to slow the train that keeps up speed very quickly, and moving to the abyss is very, very difficult. And while now we are getting out, and getting people informed that people should join us, etc., we need not to forget that the situation is critical. People are dying, and it is not just in Asia or Africa. They also die in Europe. They are dying just all around the world. And we are looking at we are watching the news and seeing that, yes, a person died there, several people died there, and what's next? If we don't act, how we will look at our children and watch them die in our hands? Is this what we want? Actually, guys, for myself, I can tell that this forum is wonderful, it's beautiful, it's very powerful, but we must join our efforts and direct them to inform all the people that there is an opportunity for unification. But the most important thing is that the catastrophe that is impending, and we cannot cope with it yet. But we must do it. This is our obligation. This is our duty. You know, once I heard such a phrase that at the moment we are in a very difficult situation right now, but we are just looking how this climate destroys us, kills us. So let us not just watch, let us act, because we have everything. We have the tools, we have opportunities, we have computers, etc. Yes, if we face it, yes, the forum was watched by a huge number of people. But what is next? How we will stop this server if we will not unite as quickly as possible? Because no matter how you look at it, we just have no time. We just don't have any time left. And we should not forget about it, never forget about it, until we catch up with this server and put him on a leash, on a hard leash. Then we can, find the rest a little bit, but actually this is not the time, to rest, because there's a whole new world for us to discover.
Thank you so much, Dušan, for everything you just said right now. And there are of course a few moments, and it's this reminder. It should be always, we need always to keep in mind that we are actually not running sort of a sprints, right? Like a sprinter runner who actually have particular distance, or a distance from one forum to another, and then you pass the finish, and then you can have a rest. No, we're running marathon, and right now we need to act more actively, and sometimes we need to preserve our forces in order to really then, with all inspiration, for example, share information about the forum, share it despite all the critics that we hear, everything who believe or not, because we're doing it for the people. We're doing it even for those who even don't believe us. And for us, it's actually, for me personally, I'll speak for myself, so it doesn't matter whether people hear me or don't hear me. I'm doing everything what I can. I talk about this information, going live on TikToks, talking to, acquaintance and friends, using all the possibility. That's such a moment that we shouldn't stop. We shouldn't be more active, optimize ourselves, how we can find even more time. Of course, it's sort of a period of become grower, taking more responsibility. Of course, it might not be easy, but there is no other chance for that. Usually, that was a very nice saying that I also remind a lot when Igor Mikhailovich said, then people believe until the point of no return. But do we even consider what will be this point of no return? And should we wait until then? I guess not. So right now we need to really do everything we can.
Thank you both for jumping right into a very, very, very important topic, the climate Cerberus. At the forum, Global Crisis, Our Survival is in Unity, the presentation of information was done in such a way that it can address each and every single type of person in this world. We went over the benefits. We went over the scenarios of what it will be like, hypothetically, if you were the last person on Earth. And then we left that behind and brought forth the information of real analysis and data regarding what lies ahead for us in 2 to 5 years, 5 to 6 years, and in less than 14, what's going to happen to our planet. And as Dušan just spoke about, mankind today, all 8 billion of us, only have one enemy. Our enemy is the climate. And it always has been. It has never not been that way. Except today, in order to overcome it, we can't be just individuals. We have to be united towards one goal. And so I hope that's understandable, and we'll dive into that a little bit more. But I want to remind that what we're uniting behind is a new format of society, a new format that allows each person to live their life to the fullest, that allows each person to not have to worry about today, to find contentment in tomorrow. There's an old saying, that really captures the idea of unity and what we're asking of people and what we're telling people that's required to overcome the climate Cerberus and catch up with it. And that is, people say there's not enough chiefs, or there's not enough Indians, or there's too many Indians and not enough chiefs. But what we're saying today is that all 8 billion of us must become the chief and the Indian. And what I mean by that is we must take responsibility for our actions, responsibility for informing. In that way, each person is a chief in their own sphere. But first, it's important to understand what you're uniting behind, right? Like there has to be the idea of what exactly I'm uniting behind. And that is the value of human life. And nowhere in our recorded history has human life been valuable. It's always been in words, it's always been in written documentation, but in actual implementation, we've been lacking. And so now we have the enemy, right? And now we have the understanding that tomorrow's not promised, in the sense that it's not promised for the earth, okay? I hope that's understandable, because it means that there's not going to be future generations of people on this planet if we don't unite. And that, I think, is an essential idea that hits at home for most of us here, because we do things in hopes that we leave a better world for our children. What are your thoughts on that, Dušan? Maybe you have something to add to that about uniting behind that goal. And of course, it's understandable we have climate, but how important is it for people to understand that goal? Thank you.
Это, скажем,
This is, let us say,
момент, в котором
is
заключается
a point that
наше с вами выживание.
that
И
actually lies our survival in.
мы поверили в то, что
And we have believed that everything is not that
все
easy.
поверили в
It's not
обыкновенную
so
фразу,
simple. We have just believed a simple
что
phrase
всё так просто.
that it is
На
not so
самом деле
simple,
всё
but in fact,
просто
everything
взять
is simple.
на себя ответственность.
We just simply need to take on a responsibility.
Мы
If
хотим
we
свою ответственность,
look the truth in the eyes, what will we see?
либо мы перекладываем свою
We
ответственность на
want to shift our responsibility to politicians, but honestly,
покажите мне хотя бы одного политика,
show me
борется за
at
человека.
least one
Я не
politician
знаю такого
that actually
человека
fights
на данный
for
момент.
people's
Просто не
rights.
знаю.
I don't know any one politician. I just don't know. There are none.
Те, которые они,
But
тех, которые они
those
показывают в телевидении,
politicians that they show on TV,
но
well,
когда я смотрю на них, вот, вижу огромный
when I
страх,
look at them,
просто страх.
I see a
За
huge
их улыбками
fear.
кроется
Behind their smiles,
чудесный страх.
there is
А
hidden
такой человек
tremendous
может
fear.
нам как-то помочь?
Can
Человек,
such a
который боится.
person actually
Может,
help
не
us?
может.
The
А
person
мы
that is
что,
afraid?
мы
No, he cannot.
будем ждать постоянно, так как Джейсон говорил,
But
что за всю
what will we do?
историю не видели
We'll just
столько,
wait for someone else to come and do something for us? As Jason said during all the war
Рабство
conflicts,
как было, так
what
и
happened?
осталось.
the slavery,
ненависть человека к
as it
человеку
was, it
осталась,
remained.
так и осталась.
A
То, чтобы мы
person's
показывали
hatred to
хорошие
another
действия,
people,
нет, мы
as it
показываем
was, as it
всё
so it remained.
плохое.
So
И сейчас,
we are
когда
showing
правда уже
on the
вскипает,
TV what is
да,
bad in us,
очень много
and
людей
when the truth
просыпаются,
comes
это
up,
хорошо.
and
Но не должно
really a lot of
останавливаться
people wake
просто.
up,
Не должны,
this is
потому
good,
что
but
нас
we must not
пока маловато,
stop
просто
at that,
маловато.
because this is
Если,
just
скажем
not
так,
enough
если
of
нас
us,
было
not
миллиарда,
enough.
это все равно мало. Если
Let's
нас
say
будет
if we were
5
just
миллиардов,
1 billion, it will still be
всё
not
равно
enough.
мало, потому что нам
If we
нужно,
were 5 billion, it will
друзья,
still be not enough,
действовать.
because
Не
we
те,
need
которые
friends
будут,
who
как и
will
сейчас,
act
просто кивать головами и говорить: да, вы
not
правы, но
just
я
like
делать
this,
ничего
that,
не буду.
the people are
Вот
nodding their
в чём
heads and saying,
проблема
yes, you're
нашего
right, but I won't
современного
do
потребительского
anything,
формата.
I won't act. So this is the
Сидеть
problem
и
of our
ждать.
modern consumer
Я
format,
бы вот,
to
как,
sit and
знаете,
wait.
как шутку скажу, вот это
So,
потребительское
I'll
вот
take a
общество,
tell a joke that
общество умов.
this consumer
Всё
society is a
время
society
ждём,
of waiters.
что завтра
We
будет
are
лучше,
always
что
waiting for
там
something, that
ребёнок
waiting for tomorrow to
пойдёт
be
в
better,
школу, что он
waiting
будет
for a child to
спортсменом,
go
что
to
он будет,
school, waiting
я не
for him to
знаю,
grow up and be an athlete,
юрист, что он будет,
or he will become a lawyer
не знаю, инженер.
or
Мы
an
ждём, всё
engineer, I don't know.
время ждём
We are
чего-то.
waiting all the
А
time
когда
during
мы
all
будем
our
жить? Мне
lifetime.
интересно вот этот
But
вопрос. Мы
when are we
вообще
going to leave?
забыли,
That's
что
what's
такое
interesting
жизнь?
to me. I mean,
А если
we have totally forgot what
посмотреть
the
на
life
то, что
is.
произошло
And
12
if we look at
ноября,
what had
ребята, это была
happened
жизнь. Это было
on November
объединение
12th,
просто
guys, this was life.
хороших,
This was really a unity,
добросовестных
a
людей со
very
всего
good
мира,
example
которые понимают
of conscious
важность
people
ситуации,
conscientious people from
которые
all
уже
over the world
никогда
who
не
understand the
останавливаются.
importance of
Они
the
будут
situation,
всегда
and they will
на
never
правом
stop.
пути. И
They will
мы,
always go
как
and
человечество,
be
должны
on the right
подхватить
track.
всех.
As humanity, we
Мы
should
должны
pick up
распространить эту информацию
this pace
настолько
and
быстро,
spread
насколько
this
ну, нужно.
information as
Конечно,
quickly as
условия
possible.
у каждого человека разные,
Of course, the conditions of every
как мне
person are
кажется,
different,
у
but
каждого
as
есть
it seems to me,
возможность
every person
пообщаться
does have
с
an
соседом, с
ability,
коллегой на
opportunity to
работе.
communicate
Я не
with a
знаю,
neighbor,
конечно,
with a
есть
colleague at work,
страны либо
or
континента, где
I don't know, maybe
сложно с
there are
пониманием.
countries or
Но
continents where there's difficult. This is difficult,
если
but
говорить за избранность, то
if we talk
мы,
about
как,
the chosenness,
скажем,
then we,
европейская, американская,
as
может, там,
European or American or
австралская, но просто от цивилизации, где,
Australian civilization,
скажем, есть какие-то достижения, мы избраны
which has some
распространить эту информацию
achievements,
для всех,
we
потому что
are
на нас
actually
лежит
chosen
огромная
one to
ответственность
spread this information,
за
because
жизнь всех
it is
людей.
huge responsibility
Если мы
that
этого
lies
сейчас
on
не
the shoulders of
сделаем,
each one of us.
то завтра не будет.
If we don't do this,
Если кто
there will
еще
be
не
no
понимает,
tomorrow
что
for us.
происходит,
If
то,
there is
извините,
someone
он
who
дебил.
doesn't
А
understand
с
what is
ним
going on,
общаться не
then
надо,
I'm sorry,
потому что он
he's a
не
dumb person.
поймет
And you
важность
can't,
ситуации.
well, no need to communicate with him
Если
because he won't understand
мы
the
будем обращать внимание
grievance
на
and
этих
importance of the
дебилов,
situation.
и они нас
But
будут
if we pay
останавливать,
attention to these idiots,
то да, человек не согласен
then they
с этим,
stop
человек
us,
другой сказал,
or a person wouldn't agree with us,
вообще в
or
своем уме вот такие
would say
цифры там
something like, are you
рассказывают.
mad? You're talking
Зачем
about
нам
numbers like
тратить
this.
внимание на этих
Why
людей,
waste
когда
our
еще там
attention on these
почти
people
6 миллиардов
while
людей
there are
не
6
проинформированы?
plus billion people who have
В то
not been
время,
informed yet?
когда нас
At
убивает
the
на
time
глазах,
when the climate
просто убивает.
is killing us
А мне,
in front
знаете,
of
я
ourselves,
тоже
just
пытался разобрать,
before our eyes.
почему,
So
когда мы знаем, что есть
I was
проблема,
actually trying to
почему мы
sort it
как-то
out.
останавливаемся
Why,
и
when we do
общаемся
have a problem,
как бы
we stop
с
and
дебилами. Извините, что
talk to
просто,
idiots. I'm sorry
потому
for
что
my
это
language,
как мне
because
кажется, это не
really it is a
хотите никого
disease.
обидеть, но это
I
просто
don't
болезнь.
want to,
Человек настолько
offend
испуган,
anyone,
что
but it's a disease.
вошел в
Person
какой-то
is so much
дебилизм,
afraid
не
that
хочет
he
с него выходить.
just entered to some
А
kind of
мы
idiocy
вместо
and
того, чтобы
he
мы
doesn't want to get out of it.
оповестить остальных
So,
людей, мы
and
постоянно
we,
этим
instead
дебилам
of
доказываем,
informing
что
other
мы
people,
правы.
we are,
Ну
trying
хорошо,
to convince these
если это
idiots
будем
that we are
продолжать
right.
делать,
Well,
ну,
if we continue
не
this way,
останется у нас
we will
ничего,
just have nothing
к
left,
сожалению.
unfortunately.
Yeah, we're just wasting our time. We wasting our attention and just like have some useless minutes of our life. And it's really like that, because when you meet these people who don't believe, or like there is always a part of egoism that want to convince these people, like tell them in such a way so they will understand. But what is the reason for it? When you actually tell them directly, so I don't want to convince you. If you don't believe me, just live your life. Method used to be, forget about me, forget about what I said to you. Some people were surprised. Why don't you want to convince me? Because time is precious, because we need to act, because there are hundreds and thousands of people who are not yet informed, and they don't even know about what is happening with our planet right now and what kind of danger are we all together are on our planet. And what is meant to be being informed. Doesn't mean that you just, when, for example, it's always a question that I ask myself, like someone informs you, like it's shouldn't be just telling about the projects. That there is such a project, but the person should really understand the essence of what is exactly creative society is. Like he or she needs to understand that it's really crucial, the most crucial information right now, and he also needs to urgently share it with others. There is no other way how we can really overcome all these difficulties. I understand that sometimes we don't believe into this, or we might be stumbled, we have my doubts, but there are doubts only when we don't know about something, when there is lack of knowledge. But on forum it was presented in such an extent, like all the facts, what is happening exactly with our planet. You can also study it yourself and understand that it's really like that their planet is in danger. Because I have this thoughts, and exactly because, for example, after watching a video, you look out into a window, everything is calm, everything is all right, but where is the guarantee that it will be tomorrow like that? There is no guarantee in our format, and somebody will help me in the case of danger. Yeah, there is, for example, right now in Germany, they will test this alarm system, but test an alarm system and really explaining what is happening, why they're doing that, two big differences. That's why we need to, become adult. But as always, I'm speaking mostly towards myself, because being an example, I think it's one of the most important way how you can explain it to other people. Be an example.
There's a lot of points I can address here that both of you have covered. So I'm going to pick one from each. Dušan had mentioned like this disease of idiocy, right? And for some time, many of us try to approach the people that are around us, right? And we try to convince them of something. And we spend all this effort and energy on people that aren't going to listen to us. And we know that, because they need to see it for themselves. They need to see it enough times that you live a different life, and it's really akin to this, you become a millionaire, okay? Or you're a successful business person, and your friends and family members are still where they're at, right? They haven't ascertained the information you ascertained. So the struggle is always to communicate to the person, well, how did you get to that point you're at, right? So how did you become successful? So going back to that idea of talking and sharing information with others and not wasting time on people, what can you do? Move on to someone else. Don't waste the energy. In my experience, you can talk to a random person. Go with feelings, okay? Go with what you feel. When you're inspired in that moment, there's a little old lady next to you. Just talk to her. or the guy that's at the gas station, you see him one time, okay, and then the next week you see him again, and you're like, okay, I should really say something to this person, and then you see him again, say something. You have what they call these coincidences and these opportunities to talk to people, but on a more actionable level. I'm listening to what we're saying here today, and it might not be clear to people, like, what does it mean to inform each other? And what is it that a person needs to understand in order to inform and talk to that person? Well, I don't believe anyone that watches this is an idiot in reality. I actually believe that most people are scared and they're going to be stuck doing what they know until they're presented with a new way of doing something. And in that sense, look out your window, right? Alex had spoke about himself, about, how things are calm. Well, they're really not. Even Alex just kind of told a lie to himself, because you can feel it, wherever you're at. You can feel that the temperature is not what it's supposed to be, or the sun is hurting a little too much on your skin, or the winds are picking up more than usual, or the temperatures all of a sudden change within 50 degrees. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, one moment it's 20, right? And the next moment it is 70 degrees. That is not normal. And all of us have enough experience on this planet that we know that that's not normal. So what you can do to find out what we know and what we're talking about regarding this form is that there is this climate Cerberus. There is this cycle that affects us. And the only way to overcome this cycle is through unity. And why is unity the solution? It's because we need our scientists to come together and address this problem, because that's how little time we have, right? It's not like the guest here today or myself couldn't go study this material and help develop it, but we don't have that time. But there are people on our planet that have spent their time and attention and resources to studying these different energetic or radiative sources. And in that regard, in a little while, we're going to watch the climate cycle clock and how that works. But before we do that, gentlemen, maybe there's something you would like to add to what I said. How can a person leave today and take action? Like, that's what's missing. What do you think someone can do today, knowing what we've said up to this 28 minutes? What can they do today when they get off this, when they close their computer, or they get up to go get a drink of water? What can they do? Alex, Dušan?
Давай я начну.
Let me start. Well, it seems to me that the most important thing is that we ourselves realized what the creative society is. This is the most important thing. What kind of information we would like to convey to another person. This is the basis, because if we haven't sorted this out ourselves, what the situation is now and what is the way out, then we cannot, inspire another person. If I have fear, how will I be able to pass something good, some good idea to someone? Because inside, very deep inside, I have something that I am afraid of. I'm afraid of that we will not succeed, or that I will, look somewhat in an awkward way. But if we are uncertain, we are uncertain that the person will believe, then this is actually where the most trouble lies. That in fear, we would like to tell another person that something will be better and that we can actually stop these climate disasters.
немножко добавил по
But
поводу
I would
ученых,
also like to
потому что
add that
есть
a little more about scientists, because as Jason said,
но
we
есть
need to unite
разница.
scientists.
Есть
But there
два
is a
типа
difference.
ученых.
There are
Есть
two
ученые,
types of scientists. There are
которые
true
показывают по
scientists.
телевидению, а есть ученые, которые никто
There are
с нас не
scientists that are
видел.
shown on
Они
TV,
закрыты
and there are
в
scientists who are
бункерах,
not
в
shown to
специальных
anyone. They're
лабораториях,
hidden in the
и они
bunkers or in special
действуют
labs,
для
doing,
правительств и так далее.
you
Но
know, operating in the
не
interests of
надо
governments.
опять, мы не
So
говорим, что
again, we are not
как
saying
сказать,
that,
знаете, мы всю
well,
жизнь
you
перекладывали
know,
ответственность на
we have
кого-то.
been shifting
И
our
сейчас
responsibility
как бы казать,
during our
ну,
lives,
выглядит
and
так, что мы
now
хотим переложить ответственность на
it may seem
ученых.
that we
Да?
would like to shift
Что,
responsibility to
потому что мы не
scientists.
можем как бы ничего
That
сделать,
yes, we
только
cannot do
ученые.
something,
Но
but
это
scientists
основная
can
ошибка.
think of
Потому
something,
что мы их не
something up.
соберем,
But this is the
мы
main
их не
mistake,
вытащим,
because
этих
we will
инженеров.
not,
У нас нет этой
gather
возможности.
those
И не сработает.
scientists. We will not get them out of those
Единственная
bunkers.
возможность
We don't have this opportunity. The
поменять
only
весь формат.
opportunity we have is to
Если мы
change the
сделаем
whole format of society.
созидательное общество,
If we do not
то мы
if
их
we don't
вытащим,
build creative
потому что
society,
все будет
we will not
для
be
людей,
able to get them
и
out.
они уже не будут бояться. Но на данный момент
And
опять
but if we will
перекладывать
be able to
ответственность
get
на
them
то,
out,
что
because
какой-то
people will
ученый что-то
no
сказал,
longer be afraid.
я ему поверил,
But again,
как в этот миф
uh,
с СО2,
it is
и
not that
все.
I
И они
believed in
что-то
some
должны
myth
сделать.
like
Я же
CO2.
плачу налоги,
You
они
know,
должны что-то
when
сделать.
people think that I pay
Знаете, с этой
taxes
точки,
and
когда
someone
прихожу
has
к
to do
человеку и
something.
хочу
From this
начать
point, if I
на тему
approach a
созидательного
person and
общества,
I would
ну, уже
start a conversation
появляется
with him,
какое-то сопротивление, потому что у него своя
there's some
правда,
kind of,
у меня своя правда.
resistance,
Мы
because he
всегда
has his own
забываем о
truth and
нашей
I have
цели.
my truth, but we are forgetting our
Тогда на
goal.
вопрос от Джейсона я бы
Then,
ответил так, что
regarding
общаться с
Jason's
людьми
question, I would say
о том,
that
чтобы найти
we should speak with
одну
people
общую
in a way,
цель, что мы хотим жить,
so to
что
find
мы
one
понимаем,
common
что есть
goal,
кризисы, мы
that we
понимаем,
all
что
want
есть
to
беда,
live,
и
that we
будет, к
all
сожалению,
understand that there are
другая
crises.
беда в
And
следующем году и так
unfortunately,
далее,
yes,
потому
there
что
will be a huge
это
trouble
неизбежно.
next year and so on,
Но
because it's
мы же люди.
inevitable. But
Если
we
мы
are people,
понимаем, что беда
and
надвигается,
if we
она уже
understand that the
происходит,
trouble is coming
то
or
мы
it is happening
можем
already, then
объединиться.
we
И
can
на этой
unite.
основе, что мы
And
хотим
based on
жить,
this,
должны начинать разговор.
on this
Не
idea that we want
доказывать
to
другому
live,
человеку,
we
что
can
он
start a
прав,
conversation,
но рассказывать, что да,
without,
с своей точки
convincing
зрения
another person
сказать,
that we are
смотри,
right
мне страшно.
or
Я вижу,
arguing
что
with him.
творится в мире, а мне
That
просто
we can
страшно.
say, yeah,
Я
I can
смотрю
see
на
what is
своих
happening.
детей,
Yes,
на
I'm
своих
scared.
внуков.
I'm
Мне
looking at my
страшно.
children, at my grandchildren,
Что я
and
буду
yes,
делать?
I'm
Смотри, я
afraid.
видел такой проект
What will I
«Созидательное
do?
общество».
Look, so I have
Вот,
watched
ну,
this
просто
this project, Create a Society, and it
давай
shows the way
посмотрим,
out.
прочитаем вместе и
Let's look
обсудим
together. Let's
все 8
watch
основ
together
и скажем, вот есть
and read the 8 pillars of
и
Creative
это
Society,
правильный
and
путь, либо нет. Либо нам нравится вот этот
let us think:
суицидальный мир,
is it the right way or not? Or do we like this
если
suicidal world?
найдем общий язык,
So if we
потому что
find
мне
this common
интересно, что другой
language,
человек
because
хочет
I'm
сказать,
interested
потому
in
что
what another
как
person
ни
has to
крути,
say,
на одной лодке. И
because
у нас у всех
any way
есть
you look at it, we are in the same boat, and
одинаковые
we
условия.
all have
Мы не можем
same identical conditions in this sense. We cannot escape this planet.
Разделять даже в каком-то общении
And
невозможно.
in this sense,
Нам найти,
dividing
мы
something,
должны найти точку,
is impossible, because we need to find
которая общая
a point
для нас.
that we share,
У нас
we both
есть
share,
это
and we do have it. This
человечество.
point
И когда мы
is
подходим к
humanity,
человеку с
the whole
этой точки,
humankind,
что он человек,
and we approach the person from
то
this
всё
perspective,
хорошо.
then everything is
Вот в
fine.
этом как бы суть.
This is the point I see.
Начать от себя.
Start from yourself.
You know, what you just said before Alex provides his feedback, Dušan, is the key point of everything you just said, of finding that common ground and what to do and how to do it, is we're all in the same boat. Regardless of position, status, religion, race, location, right now we're all in the same boat and creative society is the way out. And when we understand that, then we can talk to that other person. So thank you for sharing that. It's a very great point. Thank you. Alex.
Yes, I will just can only agree with what Dušan said and explained. So, because I see it in a similar way, that first of all, you need to really understand yourself, what is going on, and to really what is going on with climate, right? Like to find proofs for yourself, because that's not without a reason that there are a lot of links in the forum, in the first part, in climatic part, climate report, what is going on and what happened with the core, with the ocean, with the atmosphere. And actually, then you can find even more evidences that we are fighting right now. What has happened, for example, with these North Lights, right? So they are changing their color. The area is much more broader right now. So mean the magnetic field is weakening. The Earth's crust is getting smaller and smaller, right? So there are some areas where it was reduced by 30%, and it's not normal at all. And I mean, when you really see these facts, then you have no doubt that there will be something even more bad later on. So you can draw this progression for you. And then you need to approach people and really explain them with a one common goal, one common understanding that we really need to do something with it. And with understanding that there are, of course, people who are, a bit deep on this consumer format, and they can only understand benefits and explain them. And explain that in creative society we will not only survive, but we will live happily. Unfortunately, people right now can only understand this. But that this deeper reason, survival, I think you can really understand it when you study it for yourself. And what's regarding the reasons of what is happening, let's watch the next video.
Researchers believe that this cyclicity is galactic in nature. That is, it is related to the rotation cycle of the galaxy. Every 12,000 years, radiation from the center of the universe affects the solar system and even influences the sun. In 1998, not only was the Earth's core recorded jumping, but also those of the moon, the sun, and other planets. In recent decades, scientists began to record drastic climate changes on all planets and satellites of the solar system. An increase in the number of giant storms and hurricanes, abnormal temperatures, an increase in volcanic and seismic activity. Now, an increased flux of cosmic radiation due to the low activity of the sun is detected on Earth. Scientists have found evidence that a similar bombardment by cosmic rays occurred 12,500 years ago. In addition, every 12,000 years, an unknown flow of violent cosmic energy from the center of the universe comes to our planet. This high-energy impact occurs at the micro level and has enormous potential to trigger a shift of the planet's core. Galactic radiation disrupts the life cycles of the biosphere. Trees begin to massively emit more carbon dioxide, whereas swamps emit compounds of deadly gases. This time, Earth may become another dead planet, just like Mars. The planet's immune system is now destroyed by the toxins that our technogenic civilization has excreted. The planet's diseased organism might not survive the enormous stresses which cyclicity creates every 12,000 years. Every 24,000 years, disasters are even more devastating, since the solar system gets closer to the radiation from the center of the universe. We are now getting into this point of the near interaction. The planet is living its last years, and so are we, if we remain idle.
Dušan, what do you think about that? What is it? What information at the conference that was presented for you, including that video, that was shocking or that you feel people need to know? And how is that information understandable to you? And then we'll move on to Alex, and then I'll go ahead and share with you.
Как мне кажется, самая важная информация,
All right, so I think the most important information that was voiced is the day that was announced. This is the most important information, not from the point of view that it will be the end. It's from the point of view that we have time. This is most important thing to know, that we still have time. And we should never forget is that we are not talking about death, guys. We are talking about life. We want to live. We are people. And, you know, we should be like this. I have seen all the information during the forum. We cannot separate the information about the climate, and we cannot separate it from the information about the greater society, because they are interconnected. Everything in the world is interconnected. And if we understand this, we can build a beautiful world. But as it seems to me, what is needed is to, again, meet people, organize huge meetings with people. Really, we have started this. We have started doing big meetings every month for all the people who want a different kind of world. And the first experience really just shocked us, because there were so many people who came that we did not suspect that they exist, but there are. And they didn't know this, that there is such an opportunity, there is such a chance. Of course, internet is great, but I think it's important to communicate with people eye to eye. If we have this opportunity, or if you have this opportunity, maybe try to make meetings like this. And every time remind and discuss and inform, because this chain is always born. It originates from one person, in the sense that I understand that I need to come up with something new, some creative way how to tell another person, because so that he would understand, because he might be in a different situation. He can be occupied in a different work, and it would seem that there is nothing in common that we have, but that's not true. We have a lot of things in common. We have, for example, in the country, we have one government, we have a family, and we have a problem that we can address. And yes, on the forum, what concerns the year 2036 is really a hard information to grasp. But again, as it was announced in the forum, this is just a date. We can actually get rid of it, remove it, and we will leave this here. But in the world of our dream, of each one of us, because this is really a dream of each person on Earth. All we need to do is just support this wave. This is not just a wave, it's a tsunami. A tsunami, this is a power love that actually encompasses everything and can make everything that we could finally live as people. But all we need to do is just not to be afraid to talk to people, go to them, talk to them. Yes, we understand that not everyone will support us, but we can inform other people, and we understand that there is a right of every person, the right for choice, and we cannot, take this right away from anyone.
And what I would like to add from my side, that's very important to understand that it's really in unification is our survival, because as always, the name of the forum, the name of all of the conferences is very important. And it's for me, it's one of the main message that people should actually understand when they watch the forum, that only together we can survive. No one by living as it is right now, because we will not survive. But what I would like actually to say, all these small parts, these details, what exactly mean, and that we are not united. Not being united is actually to live in the current format as it is, because we see right now that even scientists who work in the same area, they could not find a dialogue between themselves. They are separated by different ideologies of the country that they live and so on, by all these other problems. They could not compare all these data and facts. Not even all the scientists have the same access to the data, because one of them want to make money, another want to being a bit different, right? So to be in short, there are a lot of issues in our current format, and without this unification, understanding each other, we could not do anything with the climate. So we can just be like a silent observers. We will just see how these climate Cerberus will come and eat us, and that's it. That's all we can do in this current format, because for example, even all these politicians later on, they will understand, when there will be this point of no return, right? And everyone will understand, something is still happening. We cannot do anything with that because the time has passed and we lost this chance. But, in this, as it was said also in the diary of the last person on Earth, right? And Lisa Yelizaveta Khromova, one of the international discussions, she mentioned that there is actually a happy end. Do you remember the date when all the events started in this film, in this short film? 12 November 2022. So if this person who wrote this diary of apocalypse could return to this initial point and redo everything, he still have a chance. So the main secret is that we are those persons who have this chance right now. And what we are doing, where we point in our attention, should we then regret what will happen after that, or should we will live happily in a creative society? Because we understand that we have done everything we can, and we can go to bed freely and sleep well, because you have this deep understanding that you have done for today everything you could do. I think that's most important thing that everyone should understand after the forum.
It's very inspirational what you both have discussed today, what we've all discussed actually today. And there's a lot that I could add, but I think Dušan gave an excellent example what current participants and future participants can do moving forward, and that's to organize meetings, organize get-togethers, organize community events of explaining the creative society. I really felt that, and so thank you for sharing that. And Alex, you covered the last man's diary, the diary of the last man. And a lot of people may not have actually captured that point, because that's how the mind works sometimes, that all of us are that person right now. How many times do we hear a person who has grown up and spent their life away from their family saying, if I could have went back, if I would have done this, I would have spent this time, I would have did this. But now we have that timeline, as Dušan said, we have that time, that projected timeline of survival. So how often do we get this idea of a goal, okay? And how often are we actually presented with the opportunity of knowing what's going to happen in advance? Not often at all. And this time we know what's going to happen in advance, and we're showing the solution and the way out, and we're presenting ideas of how to do it, how to take action. Gentlemen, do you have anything you would like to add before we conclude today? Maybe there's something you would individually wish for people who are just finding out about the essence of the creative society. Because I personally feel that all people understand the creative society. They just need to be approached and presented by someone that's familiar with the project, that knows them and can talk in their language. So please share something.
Yeah, if I may start. So, like for me, it's very important to understand that we really have this chance, and we really need to, as I also already mentioned in one of the discussions, believe in people, because there are really a lot of brilliant people on our planet, and we don't even know them. And how actually these nice and good people who are willing to do something for others will get to know about that they actually also have a chance, that there are already like these good neighbors on our planet, as one home. There are good neighbors who are already doing something. So only we can tell them. And others who are also active, and actively informing. And that's one of the things that I would like to wish. So just, disregarding of all this situation that we have, we need to run marathon, and we really need to, to gain more and more momentum. So to share this information in many creative ways. And thanks to Dušan for mentioning this physical meetings, right, that we can organize, and maybe we can really sit together with our friends, restructure, reorganize things, reinvest our time and attention, but potential actually that we have. Maybe somewhere it's still unfolded. Maybe we can, for example, pause for a moment some projects and invest into what will benefit the most. It's a simple reorganization of our time, and we should really, have this review. It's one of the main point of time management, actually, when you watch into this. So it's okay, to organize your time, plan accordingly, but there must be always a moment of review when you look backwards and you just see, okay, what I have done correctly and what kind of, result it brought in the end, and just being honest with yourself. Worth it or not? Should I do this or that? And in the end, I think all of us can find the right answer and to do what we should do, to really inform about great society, and really survive, because we are here in order to live happily.
Что здесь добавишь?
Well, what can I add here? You both have told the truth.
Я еще добавлю.
What I would like to add is that there's no person in the world that doesn't have any blame. We have all made mistakes in our lives. We have made wrong decisions, but let us now make the one right decision regarding humanity. When we see a human in ourselves, we will see it in another person. And this is where we need to start with. So we are already building the creative society. Guys, join in.
Thank you both so much for being here. And my friends, there was your call to action. If you're tired of this format, if you're ready to live as a human being, if you understand, or even if you don't understand, there's a very simple action you can do. Go on your web browser, go to creativesociety.com, click the Join Us button, and if you're ready to put in the work, click option number 3. And let's move forward. Then we'll move together with other projects, and you'll have the opportunity to implement your ideas and take responsibility for your ideas, because the whole point of doing these discussions is to tell all of you that we cannot do it without you. So thank you so much for being with us, and see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.